Hello everyone, welcome to the Four Direction with me, Mary Apollo. I'm your host. So we have been in the Youth for Human Rights Summit for the last 3 days at the United Nations. And this year's theme was Empowerment, Unite, Transformation, Driving Change Through Human Rights Summit. I'm joined by a wonderful and amazing woman and a mentor who inspire young people, and also the founder of Youth for Human Rights, Dr. Mary Shuttleworth. Welcome to the Four Direction, Dr. Mary.
Well, thank you so much, Mary. We have the same name.
Yeah.
And congratulations on what you're doing with your Four Directions. It's very important, inspiring and empowering women and children. As an educator, I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Swen, it's the 18th Summit for Youth for Human Rights, and you bring all this amazing, diverse group and international human rights advocate, academic people, youth from all around the world. How does that feel to you?
It's fantastic. I'm a people person. I'm a teacher. And I'm very much a people person. I love interacting with the youth. I mean, I'm a teacher. So I get so energized by hearing, their stories and where they come from. And most importantly, what they're doing in their communities to make it a better place. It's fantastic. You have to come away inspired.
Oh, that's wonderful. Why the youth? Why did you choose to work with the youth?
I'm an educator. So I think my passion for sharing knowledge, my passion for very similar to what you're doing, which is why I appreciate what you're doing, being willing to really give the information to, I'm a grandmother,
Oh,
and I have a passion to share information, and I love to give it in a way that they can understand it. Because you can give information, but the question is, do they understand it and can they use it? And so I have a passion of doing that. And so why children? It goes with why the youth, because it goes with education. As a grandmother and there's a certain age where you sort of, I know it all, But I think as a teacher, as an educator, you realize you never stop learning. But really, the formative years are the years when you really, really learn.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a sponge. So they're so willing and so energetic, and their whole lives are ahead of them. So if you can give them the gift of the information ahead of time, and then they can use that as energy, as information, as inspiration for whatever they're going to do for the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. That's so exciting for me.
So as the founder of Youth for Human Rights, the president, what is your role on the organization look like?
Well, my role is really the best I love. I love meeting people and interacting, learning from people and interacting with people. So my role is really front lines. That's the role of most presidents. To do that, I've actually traveled. I've traveled 17 times literally around the world. To more than 90 countries, including 15 countries in Africa, never South Sudan. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to invite me. I'm sure you have good food.
Yeah, sure.
So, but
clothing. I know you also like fashion and.
Oh yes, yeah. Yes, of course, and the bright colors and the beautiful beads, beautiful beads. So I love to meet people where they are. Mm-hmm. As I said, I'm an educator, but when you're meeting people in their own environment, you can really learn from the culture, from the richness. Every culture has a completely different. It's amazing. They have different foods, different rituals and dances and the ways they celebrate or whatever, and that's fascinating to me. So I guess I can say I'm a lifelong kid. I'm a lifelong learner, and I love meeting people. I love hearing about them, and I just learn so much,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you compassionate. It's amazing what you learn from people, and sometimes, you can compare. When you travel and you see a lot of places and you meet a lot of different people, you see how incredibly diverse We all are. But at the same time, the basic principle is the care for the child. This I find everywhere in the world, is their care, their love for their children, and their care for the children to see how can we make this world a little bit better for them. And I love that.
So you say every child everywhere deserves to know their human rights. Is this still a challenge for you to work in all the 193 countries?
Of course, it's a challenge. There's several challenges. Number one, we're a non-profit organization, so raising funds, getting support, finding volunteers. Everybody that works in our organization, including me, are volunteers. Even when I set it up, I said, okay, I get no pay, so that way we all volunteer our time. To find people to support you, that is a challenge for any non-profit. So yes, we face that challenge, but as we've grown and as they've become more and more aware of what we're doing with our materials, we've seen more and more support, so it gets easier. But in the beginning in particular, it was finding support, finding funders, finding getting the grassroots started. It's a little bit better now. So that would be the first challenge. The second challenge is it's an international organization. There are many dialects in the world, many different languages. So we translated our materials in 27 different languages, which are the most spoken languages in the world. Chinese, English, French, the most Spanish, most spoken languages in the world. But we're a non-profit, so we can only translate it in so many. But we still want to reach the more indigenous languages, and that is a challenge for us. And I think that was going to be a challenge a long time, because there are so many, not only languages, but then dialects from the languages. So that's another big challenge. Another challenge, I would say, that's important when you're dealing with human rights is just the perception that, a lot of people say, yes, I want my human rights. Yes, of course I agree, everybody should have human rights. But if you ask them, so, what are those human rights? They have no idea. These are good people. Sometimes they are lawyers, sometimes they are government officials, teachers. Myself, they talk human rights here. They really don't know. There are 30 human rights, and they are universal. They're for everybody. So many people talk about human rights. But the challenge is that you say, oh, well, we're teaching human rights, but we know human rights. No, but they don't know there's 30. What are the 30 human rights? And so that is the challenge, is the first getting the concept that, wow, I really don't know what human rights are. And another thing that I find is, because I'm invited to speak at many human rights conferences, and I find that at the human rights conference, it's a human rights conference, but when we are there, they're talking about human wrongs. Now, of course, we have to address issues facing women. I mean, come on, there's a lot of we don't even have to discuss that. I know that's why you do the work. So there's a lot of issues that we need to address. But Youth for Human Rights, our campaign is simply to teach human rights. In other words, what we're talking about is really the future we want to see. We really, we are all born free and equal. Don't discriminate. We are basically teaching the Universal Declaration and saying, look, these are your rights. Let's build that world. Rather than, of course, there are organizations that deal with the problems, and there should be, because they are big problems and they have to be addressed. My problem starts with, the first is to get people to understand, oh, I don't know what my human rights are. Their willingness to learn, oh, there's 30 human rights, and then what are they? And so, but the initial step is confusing. Let's talk about human rights. They immediately start talking about human wrongs. So yes, we should talk about it, but it's human rights we're talking about.
So what is your favorite human rights article?
Okay, now we're talking. Now you're talking the language of a teacher. So to me, let me explain it to you this way. To me, we've got 30 human rights. And to me, those 30 human rights is like a bicycle wheel. We have 29 spokes to the wheel. Like a bicycle wheel, right? But there's the right to education, the right to nationality, the right to, freedom of thought, don't be discriminated, and so on. 29. But it's like any bicycle. There's a hub in the middle that if you don't have that hub, the bicycle won't work. Have you ever seen a bicycle that's going to work with no hub?
Right.
It's not possible. You can have 1,000 spokes, the spokes of the wheel. The bicycle won't work because they fly all over the place. So this spoke, hub in the middle, to me, is what makes human rights work, and I'll show it to you. Are you interested?
Great. Wonderful. Yeah.
It's called Article 29.
Oh, responsibility.
The responsibility. It's our duties toward each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. For example, I speak to students in schools, and I say to them, so here you are, you have the right to education, you have a teacher, you have books, whatever, right? If you want that education, you have to do your homework. You have to participate in that education. You can't come to school sleepy and tired and sleep in the corner. You have to participate. You have to do your duty, and then you get the education. Even if somebody just gives you a certificate, don't worry, you can sleep in the corner, I'll give you a certificate. You didn't get the education. But when you participate, now you get the education. For example, human right number 2, don't discriminate. Everywhere in the world we have a problem with bullying. Everywhere in the world, like literally. If you know anywhere, please tell me, because I've never seen it. Everywhere in the world there is bullying going on in schools, and if the students just realize they have to take the duty, if they see bullying, either do something about it, report it, whatever, but don't just sit on it. You know why? Because if you don't do something about it, tomorrow that bully maybe is coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that's how, if we do our own duties toward each other, toward those human rights, we make the human rights work for us, like that bicycle wheel. So that's my favorite human right.
That's great. So as a teacher now, with this innovative technology,
Yes.
and people, how can people teach the human right?
That's such a good question. I was hoping you would ask me.
Yes.
So our website is www.youthforhumanrights.org.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on our website, immediately when you go on the website, it's a free course. It's totally free.
Okay.
And it's going to go through each one of the 30 human rights. It's going to talk about the United Nations, because this is a United Nations document. It's not my document. It's just what we are just trying to make it easy so that kids can understand, because these are very big concepts,
Mm-hmm.
And so the first easiest step to teach it is just go to the website and do the course. Probably it will take you about 2 hours to do it.
And it's free.
Then it's free of charge, and you can also do piece. So if you want to take a little, break it up, absolutely you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and it's also possible to download some materials. Download the teachers, educators, religious leaders, community, volunteers or whatever. We actually have a whole curriculum, and you can download it for free. So, and then there's the 30 little videos. Each video is 30 seconds or 60 seconds. So in less than 1 minute, you can learn one of the human rights. And I'm a teacher. The more you visualize it, the more interesting it is, engaging, then they remember. If you just say the words and by tomorrow maybe you don't remember. And maybe by 5 days you definitely don't remember. But if you see the video, you'll remember that video. Mm-hmm. So, and it's all free. And that's a good price.
A good thing. To encourage more people. So exactly. I know you work with this dynamic group, and you know all the youth from different backgrounds.
Yes.
You recognize by their name, by their activity, and also you're trying to bring more youth to the International Summit, give them more opportunities.
Exactly.
So what is your advice to the young people, the youth and the women who want to get in the field of human rights?
Good. So the first advice I have is first know what your human rights are. If we want human rights, these are our human rights. It's universal human rights. If you want to have human rights, if you don't even know that there's 30, that they are universal, so they are yours, and what are they, you will never ever be able to defend it. Like the bullying, you know, like the responsibility. Very few people knew, hey, responsibility, it's a human right. Somebody said to me, how can responsibility be a human right? I said, you know, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. Somebody wants to mess with my child. I have the human right to defend that child, you know? So that's my advice. Number one, learn what are your human rights. Really understand it. The second thing is, I think it's a really good idea, is to learn the constitution of your country. Because this human rights is a global viewpoint, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have to relate it back to their own constitution, because your own constitution has the local laws. So you take it from the Universal Declaration makes me part of a global world, global citizenship. And then you come to, okay, but in my country, these are my human rights per the Constitution, and there are laws that to protect for the Constitution. So that's where we start getting justice. And also for my wonderful young people, if the Constitution and the laws and what have you don't relate to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, well, maybe it's time for you to, you know, study law or do what you can to change it, because these are our human rights. So, you know, as we move into the future, create the world we want, maybe we should make sure that the laws align, you know, align with your universal human rights.
Wonderful. So you were born in South Africa.
Correct.
During the apartheid time, like fight the discrimination and immigrate to the US. I just want to know if you started Youth for Human Rights in 2001.
2001.
Sorry.
That's fine, no problem.
Like almost 24 years.
Yes.
All this huge impact and global opportunities, like, and you have different chapters in different countries. Have you fulfilled your expectation?
You know, yes, and yes. And I'll tell you why. The global vision, my ultimate goal, my ultimate dream, of course not. There's still much to be done. But truly, have I affected the life of one child? Yes. So by the time you've affected, changed, or saved the life of one child, you've fulfilled your dream toward the big dream. Can I share a story with you?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Excited.
I'll share 2 stories with you if we have time.
Yeah, sure. I'm very
So
excited.
the one little girl, she was at home very, very happy. She's in Australia and very happy at home. But then she became 5 years old. She went to kindergarten, and the bullying was terrible. Like, they were really just bullying her. And this is kindergarten, you know, she's a baby, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And she was crying. She told her mother, I'm never going back to school. The mother knew, this is many, many, many years she has to go to school. She better fix this, because she can't have this crying every day for the next 13 years, you know. So she went online, she found our program. She sat the little girl down, 5 years old, and showed her a few of the videos, just a few. Wow, Mama, I have human rights. It's not okay what they're doing. I have rights. But the problem with the rights, the kids in my class, they don't know about these rights. You need to show them the video. Mm-hmm. So the mother took the videos to the school, spoke to the teacher. Teacher said, yes, please bring the videos. So the mother showed just 3 or 4 videos. The bullying stopped. And now she was friends with the bullies. So then she became very confident that she could, you know, she could go to school, she could be a happy child. But why did this happen to her? Because she stutters, you know, but. Okay. So even if the mother bought a pink shirt or a green shirt or a purple, whatever, there's nothing the mother could do, because she stuttered. So she stuttered before she learned the human rights. When she was crying, she was unhappy. She stuttered after she learned the human rights, but she was happy because she knew, I have human rights. You can't do that to me. So that was a life changed. Another story was a young boy, 10 years old, who went to school, And that day, one of our volunteers went to the school and did 1 hour lesson, sharing a couple of the videos, talking about human rights. Oh, this is your human rights. What do you think? And whatever they were having. And they had a great time. After 1 hour, he left. He was very happy. Children were happy. The teacher was happy. Everybody was happy. 2 days later, the school principal called. Please come and see me in my office. Now, even as an educator, we don't want to hear that. So he was really worried. Wow, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
What did I do? I thought everybody was happy, But he found out that one of the children that came to school that day, when he came to school, he had already decided to take his life because of the bullying. But that day, because of one volunteer for 1 hour, he learned, I have human rights. I'm going to report this, that they can't do this to me. So the school literally wrote us a letter to say thank you. And it says, I can truly state that the Youth for Human Rights program is life-saving. So have I accomplished my goal? Even just those 2 children? Yes. Is there a lot more to do? Yes. But every success, every child's life you affect, change, save, it's worth it. It's worth it. It gives me all the energy I need.
That's wonderful. So with that educational background, how were you able to bring different people from different backgrounds and different organizations and work in collaboration and partnership with?
It's networking. And that's the part of the summit. The International Summit, we invite people, like-minded people from different countries, completely different backgrounds, different cultures together, and they interact with each other, they get to know each other, they hear the stories, they see, wow, you like this, you like curry, you don't like curry, whatever, and so they realize, wow, we are all very similar, and they connect on this agreement. We all want human rights. And then they start forming partnerships. How can we work together? Alone, nobody's going to achieve anything. I can't achieve anything alone. It's about forming partnerships, friendships, getting to know each other, and working together. Because together we absolutely can make a difference in this world.
So what's your advice for young people and the upcoming generation? And is there more opportunities for youth to apply for the upcoming summit?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So my advice, I'm a teacher, learn your human rights. It's free. Youthforhumanrights.org. It's free. Number 2, get active. Share that information. It's just like your teacher. If you learn something, share it. Share it. Tell your friend, tell your neighbor, share it with your parents. Share that information. Don't sit on it, because for each person, every one person knows 10 people. If each one of the people tell 10 people, and each one of those 10 people tell 10 people, you can see it goes very fast. So you inspire them to share, and it goes very fast. And then you find the like-minded people, the people who care about people. And I can tell you that in all my travels, the majority of people I've met, they are just good people, different in many ways. Some like curry and some don't. But basically we all want these human rights. We want a more peaceful world. So work with each other, make friends, even if we are different, make friends and see how can we work together and inspire each other and share stories, like these 2 little stories. They are all over the world, those stories. It's amazing. So when you start hearing that, you get inspired by that. And how can they participate in the International Summit? humanrightssummit.com. And we will probably have the next summit, because we just wrapped up, probably in July next year. We don't know the dates, but that's the website, humanrightssummit.com.
Oh, wonderful. So excited for that. Do you have more information you would like to share, or?
I think that's the most basic gift that I can give. And just, as young people, get out there, do something. And you will, no matter what you do, you're going to have times that are disappointing, that you feel it was a failure. We all have that, and you need to know, I'm a teacher. Everybody goes through that. Nobody's life is perfect. If you find a perfect person, you tell me. I want to meet them. Everybody is going to come through a struggle. Everybody's going to have challenges, have disappointments. Take it as a learning experience. Don't stop. What happened? How can I learn from it? And get courage from it and go on. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going for your dream. You have a dream, keep going. Sometimes faster, sometimes slower. Keep going. And if you fall down, get up and keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, and I really appreciate what you're doing with the 4 Directions, with your show. I wish you every success, and we have the same name, so.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the 4 Direction. Again, my name is Mary Apollo. I'm the host, and I was joined by Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, the president, the founder for Youth for Human Rights. See you in a different episode, in a different topic. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the 4 Direction. Again, my name is Mary Apollo. I'm the host, and I was joined by Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, the president, the founder for Youth for Human Rights. See you in a different episode, in a different topic. Thank you so much. Bye.